That saddle tan leather cabin sitting inside a truck that could dominate a Baja trail. That contradiction is exactly what Chevrolet just weaponized against every luxury pickup on the market. By the end of this video, you'll understand why this interior represents a genuine turning point for the American work truck, and why the people who dismissed it at first glance are going to be explaining themselves. There's an engineering decision buried in this cabin that Chevrolet has said almost nothing about publicly, and I'll get to it. And is this worth $85,000? My honest answer is going to surprise you. We're covering the cabin in detail, the exterior architecture, and what's under that hood, including something the spec sheet doesn't tell you. One thing I'll say now, this truck didn't start life as a showroom exercise. What stands out to me is the material hierarchy in this cabin and why it matters for the entire segment. The Cognac full-grain leather here isn't the story. The story is the Alcantara headliner paired with structural carbon fiber on the door cards. That combination, soft, tactile sealing, rigid, lightweight trim, is a philosophy borrowed directly from European GT cars. Applying it to a truck body-on-frame platform is a deliberate statement. Chevrolet is no longer willing to cede the premium interior conversation to Ram's 1500 Limited or Ford's F-150 Limited. Here's why that matters for real buyers. If you've been cross-shopping a loaded Ram TRX at $92,000 and wondering why the interior feels like an afterthought despite the price, you'll understand immediately when you sit in this. The speculative technology I'm watching closely here is an adaptive microclimate seat system. Individual heating, cooling, and lumbar zones that respond to occupant biometric data in real time. Not driver profiles. Actual body temperature and pressure mapping. The engineering case is straightforward. The seat foam density and perforation pattern visible in these images is consistent with integrated sensor housing, not standard foam construction. But the seats are only the entry point to this cabin. What they've done with the rest of the interior is where it gets genuinely interesting. Start with the door panels, because they're doing something Ram and Ford aren't. The upper portion is genuine Alcantara, the lower armrest is full-grain leather, and running across the top is a carbon fiber inlay that's structural, not decorative. It reinforces the door card against lateral flex on trail terrain. That's an intelligent engineering choice, not a styling call. Most manufacturers would have used painted plastic here at any price point. Moving forward to the dashboard, the dual screen arrangement, digital cluster, and a separate infotainment display sits within a matte Alcantara dash surround with a Cognac leather accent strip running horizontally across the width of the cabin. The contrast is precise and intentional. It visually separates the tech zone from the luxury zone, which prevents the interior from reading as either purely utilitarian or purely ornamental, both at the same time. That's genuinely difficult to execute. Now, here's what most people will miss. The center console and rear seat controls appear configured for what I'd describe as an adaptive acoustic management system, a network of cabin microphones and speakers that actively cancels low-frequency vibration from the solid axle suspension. Think noise-canceling headphones applied at vehicle scale. In a lifted truck on 35-inch mud terrain tires, that's the difference between a refined daily driver and something you endure. Now, I want to be straightforward about this. Where I think they missed the mark is the rear floor. Dark carpet against Cognac leather throughout the rest of the cabin is a mismatch that Ram avoids with color-matched flooring on the TRX interior. It's a small thing, but at $85,000, it's a visible thing. And the real cost of ownership question I planted at the start? That answer depends entirely on what we're about to find under the hood. And there's one element of this truck's engineering story I still haven't told you. Here's the partial answer to what I mentioned at the start. This truck's brief wasn't written in Detroit. The ZRX Ultimate project originated from a collaboration between GM's performance division and an aftermarket engineering house with deep roots in desert racing. That changes how you read every suspension and powertrain decision in this build. But the full picture, that's in the verdict. Looking at the exterior, the lifted stance and widened fender flares are doing two separate jobs simultaneously. The flares, extending roughly 3 inches per side beyond the standard Silverado quarter panel, are accommodating a significantly wider track, which directly improves lateral stability when the terrain drops away sideways. That's not a cosmetic decision, that's chassis geometry. The front fascia retains the production Silverado's horizontal bar grille structure, but integrates a skid plate that's load-bearing. It's mounted to the frame, not the bumper skin. That distinction matters if you're actually using the recovery hooks visible at the lower corners. The blacked-out window treatment and panoramic roof maintain visual continuity with the premium interior without adding unnecessary weight to the top of the vehicle. At approximately 232 inches overall length, consistent with a Silverado 1500 crew cab, the proportions are disciplined. Ground clearance, given the lift, appears to be in the range of 11 to 12 inches. That's legitimate capability, not a stance kit. This design will hold up over time because it doesn't compromise the truck's fundamental character, it enhances it. But design and engineering mean nothing without the right powertrain. Here's what's under the hood. The ZRX Ultimate is expected to carry GM's 6.2-liter V8, 420 horsepower, 460 pound-feet of torque, mated to a 10-speed automatic. In a truck configured this way, you're looking at 0 to 60 in the mid-5-second range. That's meaningful when you're merging with a trailer attached. The speculative tech that's most relevant here is a predictive terrain management system, GPS-integrated, reading topographical map data and live camera inputs to pre-select the correct four-wheel drive mode before the terrain changes beneath you. The system doesn't react, it anticipates. That's the engineering distinction that separates it from every button-switching transfer case currently in production. Against the Ram 1500 TRX's supercharged 6.2 at 702 horsepower, the TRX wins the dyno sheet obviously. But the TRX returns 10 mpg combined and carries a $95,000 base price. The ZRX Ultimate offers comparable real-world trail capability at a meaningfully lower cost of operation. For anyone who's owned a TRX and found themselves leaving it in the garage because the fuel bill is absurd, this is the more rational answer. This is a seriously capable machine that doesn't ask you to apologize for driving it every day. Now, here's what I actually think, and I'm going to be completely straightforward with you. The full backstory. This build was spec'd with explicit input from Chevrolet's SCORE Desert Racing Program engineers, the same team behind the Colorado ZR2 race truck. They wanted to prove the platform could carry both genuine off-road capability and a cabin that doesn't feel like a penalty. Looking at these images, they made their point. The ZRX Ultimate is expected to sit between $82,000 and $88,000 fully configured. A loaded Ram 1500 TRX starts at $95,000 before options. A Ford F-150 Raptor R runs $107,000. For what those trucks cost, you could have this with meaningfully more interior refinement and comparable trail performance. Where experienced buyers need to pay attention is depreciation. Performance-focused truck variants have historically held value well in the current market. The ZR2 retains close to 55% at 5 years, which is among the best in the full-size segment. If the ZRX establishes a similar floor, the effective ownership cost relative to European alternatives at this price point is genuinely competitive. Insurance will classify this in a higher tier than a standard Silverado. That's real money annually. Factor it in. If you've been driving GM trucks for 20 years and want one that finally matches the way you live the rest of your life, this is it. If you tow a boat on weekends and need a capable daily driver that doesn't embarrass itself at a business dinner, this is the strongest option in the full-size segment right now. If maximum raw power is your sole priority, point yourself at the TRX instead. The interior ambition is real. The capability is documented. The price is justified. That saddle-tan leather cabin inside a trail-capable truck, I opened with that contradiction because it's the whole argument this vehicle is making. Now you understand it fully. This wasn't built to be a showroom curiosity.
It was built by people who race in the desert and still drive something comfortable home. I'd genuinely love to hear your perspective, especially if you've owned a ZR2 or a TRX and have real-world impressions to share. Drop them below. If you want to see how this stacks up against the Ram 1500 TRX in a direct head-to-head, that video's right here. If straightforward, no-nonsense automotive analysis is what you're here for, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.